Hello and welcome to Church of the Beatitudes, both members and visitors. Life has certainly changed, but there are still some constants in our life, which includes faith and our services. Here at Church of the Beatitudes, we're a progressively minded community that believes that by coming together, we're empowered to make God's love real in tangible ways for others. This pandemic and call for social distancing has certainly changed how we worship. We can't be together right now in person, but we can still connect spiritually. So please join us as we worship virtually.
Welcome to Church of the Beatitudes. Thank you so much for giving us this little bit of your time to be able to come together virtually, digitally, however you want to describe that, anything but in person. You have heard that there are some churches in the Phoenix Valley that are already beginning to open again, and they are doing that to the best of their abilities and to the best of the knowledge that they have. Here at Church of the Beatitudes, we are continuing to look at the data. We are continuing to look at how we can create a space when the time comes for us to gather in person where everyone will be safe together. So it's not only a spiritual experience, but it's also an experience where people will feel at peace. We are not there yet. We do not believe this is the right time for that to happen. I'm not sure when that will be. We will continue to keep you informed. I encourage you to please continue to be a part of our worship that we have together by recording these. And then also, you're going to hear at the end of worship some opportunities for you to come together with some of the other members in our Zoom experiences. And again, if you haven't done that, please consider trying it at least once and see if it resonates with you. It's a wonderful way to stay connected with each other. So, it's time for us to become focused again. That's one of the things that I enjoy most about worship. It is that period of time where I can stop and become very centered and intentionally aware of the divine in our midst. And so the sacred space is not limited to one particular building. Sacred space is wherever we meet with that intention in mind. Please become focused. To help you do that, maybe focus on your breathing. Focus on a particular object and allow your thoughts to become still and become sensitive and aware of the divine in our midst.
Beatitudes Church recognizes the hard work and dedication of the students of the class of 2020. Graduation ceremonies and promotions looked very, very different this year. But underlying it all is a united assurance that these graduates have been steeled by this unprecedented crisis to carry the dream forward to the other side. Join us as we lift these graduates up with our congratulations for a job well done.
Good morning, church. Today we're going to be teaching you a new song called Roll Down Justice by one of the progressive leaders in music making for the Progressive Church, Mark Miller. We thought with all of the civil unrest in our nation and our world that there was no better time to introduce this song to you. So We encourage you to learn the notes and the words by either rewinding the portion of this video a couple times, or you can follow along with the text that's provided. But we want you to be comfortable learning this anthem for social justice in our world.
There's a voice strong and clear, ringing out far and near. Let justice roll down, let justice roll down. Like the rush of a stream comes a powerful dream. Let justice roll down. Justice rolls down. Let the earth be restored, every soul be reformed. Let the healing renew, creation reborn. Here in this sacred space, with the strength of God's grace, let justice roll down, justice rolls down, roll down, justice, roll like an ever-flowing stream. Roll down, justice, roll like an ever-flowing stream, flowing stream, roll down. On this glorious day, give us courage, we pray. Let justice rolls down. Let justice roll down. Let the vision take flight, and God will delight as waters flow down. Justice abounds. Roll down, justice, roll like an ever-flowing stream. Roll down, justice, roll like an ever-flowing stream, flowing stream, roll down.
One of the ways that we can honor each other is by practicing physical distancing, as well as wearing masks when we're close to one another. One of the other things that's happened when it comes to this COVID experience and meeting each other is that we can no longer shake hands, right? And even fist bumps aren't the best thing to do because it requires closeness. So how is it that we can greet one another if the typical ways that we do it are no longer really honoring the other person? So I've asked Ellie, who is a professional in greeting people, to tell us a way that we can do that. Ellie.
Actually, I wouldn't say I'm a professional. I'm a practitioner of yoga.
I stand corrected.
And one of the things that I like about being a practitioner of yoga is the way in which we end our yoga practice. And that is using the namaste. And there's other cultures and traditions that use this method as well.
And so how do you do that?
So just put your hands together
Hands
at your
together,
heart
at my heart,
and then just bow.
and bow.
And you can close your eyes too.
I
It's a
can close
symbol
my
of
eyes.
respect. Yep.
Got
And
it.
it's not all creepy.
And then that's all I have to do.
Well, and one thing you can either say aloud to somebody if you would like, or even in your head as a moment of like meditation and reflection, is to say, I honor the place within you that I honor within myself.
Oh, that's so by doing that, you are honoring each other
Yes,
and recognizing the connection that exists between each other.
yes,
So I think this is a perfect time if you're worshiping with someone else to pause it and perhaps practice that. And more than just the physical act, but also that spiritual act of saying, I acknowledge in you the same place that is in me.
Yes.
Or I honor the place in you.
yes.
And so that would be a perfect time. And Ellie, what if they're by themselves? What could they do?
I practice doing this in front of the mirror. I know that that sounds so silly, but I have learned how to have to say, I love you to myself in the mirror every morning. So before I go to bed at night, I brush my teeth, I floss, I comb my hair, I get ready to go to bed, and I look in the mirror and I say, I honor the love and the soul within myself.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really powerful.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful way to, so I'll have to remember that. Brush my teeth,
Yep, floss.
floss,
Yep.
brush my hair,
Wash your hands,
wash my hands, comb my hair,
comb your hair.
and then namaste to myself. I honor the love
And soul
and soul
within myself.
within myself. And that really ties in then with the whole idea of Jesus telling us that we ought to love ourselves
Yep,
in order to make love real for another human being.
exactly. Exactly.
So
Thanks.
enjoy this moment and enjoy the music of reflection which is following right now.
Today's scripture reading is from Genesis 1, verses 26 through 28. Then God said, "Let us make human beings in our image, to be like us. They will reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the livestock, all the wild animals on the earth, and the small animals that scurry along the ground." So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Then God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and govern it. Reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground." Here ends the reading.
Michael Jordan, one of the most, if not the most, well-known name throughout the world. Michael Jordan. When he first started basketball, he came out of North Carolina. In North Carolina, he was literally a nobody. But by the time he stopped basketball, he had made $100 million. Today, May of 2020, Michael Jordan is worth $2.1 billion. Yes, billion dollars. He is the success. There are people that look at his life and they say, the American dream, that's it. If you work hard, if you're disciplined, if you persevere, if you're willing to go that extra mile and then another mile, you can also be like Mike. In fact, those three words, be like Mike, became popular throughout the world because of this commercial.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. You got to see that's how I dream to be.
I dream I move,
I dream I groove.
like Mike. If I could be like Mike,
Oh, if I could be like Mike.
Like Mike. If I could be like
If I
Mike.
could be like Mike.
Be like Mike. Be like Mike.
yeah, I try. Just need to fly.
Just one day if I could be that way. I dream I move.
I dream I groove like Mike. If I could be like Mike,
I'm gonna be like Mike.
like Mike. If I could be like Mike,
Be like Mike. Like Mike. If I could be like Mike. Be like
So to be like Mike doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have all the money that he has. But it does mean that you take the talents and abilities that you have and you work hard. You work to the nth degree to make sure that you can be success. Because success in America equals value. The greater your success, the greater your achievements, the more valued you are by society. In fact, we have a word for these individuals. Those individuals that make it to that higher echelon of achievement. We often call them dignitaries. People that we in society find worthy. People that we would like to emulate. We see this in so many different areas. For example, not only with athletes, but we see it with artists. We see it in the area of intelligence. We see it with musicians. Again, we value those individuals who will work hard and be a success. Because if we can do that, then we can be like Mike. But there's a problem here. If you work hard enough and you can acquire worth, if you can acquire dignity, which the word dignity literally means to be worthy, So if you to have value, to have worth, to have dignity, if it's something that you can achieve, something that is external of you, then the reality is you can also lose it. One of the things I enjoyed about the series, The Last Dance, the last championship season for Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, was that it emphasized that as Michael was aging, his skill set was slowly beginning to diminish. Now, what's amazing is, even though it diminished, he was still far better than the majority of other players. But he had to adapt. So even Michael Jordan, his abilities were slowly beginning to wane. And the same thing happens to all of us. If we are putting our value in something that is external of us, then over time, as that ability begins to diminish, then our sense of value, our sense of worth in our own eyes and the eyes of other people begins to shrink. It begins to diminish. And that creates all sorts of problems internally. But Christianity came up with a way of finding dignity or worth or value as intrinsic. It's not something that is external of you, it's something that is actually inside of you. In Genesis chapter 1, it tells us that God creates humankind in God's image. Christians understood that to mean that our worth is within ourselves. It was intrinsic. It's something that was inherent because we were created by God. And they went further to say that that not only applied to Christians, but it applied to all human beings because we are all created in the image of God. And everything was going along fine with this understanding of dignity until evolution came about. Our understanding of how the world was created, that humanity was not created, poop, that's it, finished all at once, but that humanity evolved over a period of time. That calls into question the whole idea of being created in the image of God. And if we are not created in the image of God, where is our sense of dignity? Where is our sense of self-worth? Some replied to that by arguing that the reason why we are different than the animals, the reason why our dignity is different than all the other creatures, is because we are rational beings. And that idea worked for a while until scientists began to understand that animals can also reason, that they have a rational ability. And so they had to go back and they said, the answer is our dignity is greater than theirs because we have evolved further. Our rational ability, our reasoning ability is up here. The rest of them are down here. Therefore, we have more dignity. We have a sense of greater worth and greater value. I wonder if there's another way we might look at this. What would happen if we were to take this idea of being created in the image of God and not read that story literally, but hold on to the principle that underlies that wording, created in the image of God? Hold on to that principle that says that each of us are of value, that each of us are inherently have dignity and worth. And if we could hold on to that underlying principle, and if we could take philosophy, which is studying the existence of humanity, and if we could bring that understanding without the literal story and bring that together with philosophy, I wonder if that would help us still be able to embrace the idea that dignity is something that is inside of us, not external of us. The German philosopher Immanuel Kant looked at this, And he said that an object can have two sources of value. The first source of value comes from the price that we place on that object. It's us looking at that object and going, it's worth that. And it's usually that is how that object contributes to life, how it enhances other people's lives. And so we put a value on it. We put a price on that. Immanuel Kant said that is one way that you are able to find value in an object. Then he said the second way to do that is you find the value of something because the value is inherently within that object. And because it is inherently within that object, it cannot be used as a tool. It cannot be used as a means to something else. Instead, you honored it and you valued it because it simply was. So perhaps the value of human life, what human dignity is all about, is that we are simply humans and we are alive, and we are worthy and we are valuable. Now, if you can wrap your mind around that, and it's more than just words, if you can truly believe that there is dignity within you, then you will become more sensitive to the dignity in other people. And you will be aware how in our society and throughout our world, there continues to be violations of people's dignity. Two examples of that. One of the greatest needs within developing countries is water and sanitation. The desire to have clean water and the ability to have privacy when it comes to sanitation. But in the majority of developing countries, that isn't a reality right now. I was reading an article about that, and it was a fascinating read, where something as simple as using the bathroom. In developing countries, there is no bathroom. So if a person needs to defecate, they have to go outside. That alone is a very humiliating act. But in these countries, many women are seen as being less than, and so that humility even grows stronger. That attacks the dignity of a human being because they are not able to have the fundamental facilities that are needed to continue to function as a human being. One that you'll find perhaps a little easier to resonate is here within our nation. There's pockets of it. You're not going to see it everywhere, but it's poverty. Poverty is a violation of human dignity. And it doesn't matter if that poverty is absolute poverty. And by that I mean that it's the individual who literally has nothing, who has to go out and hunt through garbage cans to find food. That is a violation of that person's dignity. That person's self-worth is attacked because in order for them to survive, they have to do things that the majority of human beings would find appalling. But as a society, we watch this. And I think one of the reasons why we are able to tolerate it is because we still believe that somehow my dignity is tied up to something that is external of me. But if I understood that my dignity was really in me, then I would understand that that person who's trying to find something to eat, the dignity is in him, the same as in me. And he is of a greater value or of equal value as I am. So that would be absolute poverty. But what about relative poverty? A writer talks about and discusses how even relative poverty affects a person's sense of dignity, not only in their own eyes, but in the eyes of other individuals. He says the following: relative poverty is a violation of human dignity because the cumulative experience of not being able to afford the same clothes, entertainment, social events, education, or other features of typical life in that society results in, ready? Subtle humiliation, subtle social rejection, subtle marginalization, and consequently, a diminished self-respect and self-worth. If you think about that, here in our country, where there literally is plenty of money at different levels of our society, there are individuals that are living in poverty. And we are allowing or we are tolerating it. Let that sink in. Does it matter to you? I guess a lot depends upon how you see dignity. Do you believe that the dignity, your self-worth, is not based upon what you will or won't achieve in life, what you have or don't have? It's based upon the simple fact that you belong to the species human being. If you can hold that, then it will impact how you look at other people. And if we could grasp hold of that, first and foremost, our own lives would be so much better. We could look in the mirror and feel good about who we are as we watch over the years as our facial features begin to change because of age and gravity. And maybe we would appreciate a little bit more some of those stories of Jesus that we find in the Gospels. The stories that are told about how Jesus healed people. It doesn't matter if you believe they were literal or if they are figurative. But when you understand that those healing stories, all of them seem to have an objective in mind. And that objective is to demonstrate that Jesus was about restoring people into health, into full life, to restoring their sense of dignity, their sense of value and worth. We have that opportunity today. But it starts with you truly believing where your source of dignity comes from. And if you can find that, and you can find a sense of acceptance and value in who you are, because you simply are alive, it could get really, really exciting in our world. Because then you would realize that every human being around you and those that you could never or will never see, that they too are valuable. This is a way for us to make love real in a very practical way. Jesus was an incredibly wise person. love yourself, and out of that will come love for others. Find your true source of dignity, and life can get a lot easier to move forward in. Amen.
For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a space, a safe place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice. Justice and joy for woman and man, a place at the table, revising the rules, deciding the share, with wisdom and grace, dividing the power, dividing the power, dividing the saves and that spare. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice. Justice and joy. For everyone born, a place at the table, to live without fear and simply to be, to work, to speak out, to witness and worship. For everyone born, the right to be free. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy. 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 Justice and joy.
For this time of prayer, I encourage you to leave your eyes open and watch the images that will appear on the screen. Gracious Spirit, who makes the first to be last and the last to be first, who makes the rain to fall and the sun to shine upon all, help us to understand that life is not a contest where having the most toys is the point of the game. To realize that the victor's circle can be the loneliest spot on earth. To recognize that the greatest rewards don't come from winning, but from relationships where both triumphs and tears can be celebrated and shared. Powerful Spirit, infuse us with your life-giving strength and grant us the inward security of knowing our own goodness without needing to prove it to the world. Lift us above both envy and pride, the need to feel superior to others, and feelings of inadequacy alike, enabling us to walk together as equals and at home in the great community of life. Wise Spirit, we know that life is not a race to be won, but a journey to be savored. Grant us the faith to live each day with the finish line in sight, so that when our days are over, our achievements will be measured not by the degrees we've earned or the size of our estate, but by the dimensions of our character, not by the quantity of our possessions, but by the quality of our love. Amen.
Oh, for a world where everyone respects each other's ways, where love is lived and all is done with justice and with praise. Oh, for a world where goods are shared and misery relieved, where truth is spoken, children spared, equality achieved. We welcome one world's family and struggle with each choice, but opens us to unity and gives our vision voice. Oh, for a world preparing for God's glorious reign of peace, where time and tears will be no more, and all but love will cease.
Thank you for having spent this time with us. And as our gift to you, we offer you this blessing. May you be blessed with a sense of serenity. Serenity to accept that you are a person with dignity. You are a person with infinite value, not by what you've done, but simply because of who you are. And may you also be blessed with a sense of courage. Courage to see the dignity in every human being that crosses your path, and the courage to act and to respond when you see another person's dignity being violated. And then last of all, may you be blessed with the spirit of love, a spirit of love that responds to that sense of thankfulness and gratitude that your value is in here. And in return, when you understand that and you grasp hold of that, out of you will come a sense of love. And you will be able to make love real for another human being this coming week. Amen.
Make God's love real, make God's love real, today, tomorrow, and every day. Make God's love real.
Hello, Beatitudes. We're so glad you could join us today. Summer is here. And although it looks a little bit different, it's still kind of the same. In fact, we are still connecting with you, only it's digital this time, this summer. And we're going to continue to connect with you all summer long digitally. And here's how you can connect with us. Zoom. We've been talking about it this whole time. I'd really love to see lots more people join us. Today, for instance, you can join us for Ruminate. That starts at 9 o'clock. And Tony's topic this week is, "The Lady Doth Protest Too Much." And then we have another Zoom on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. This is with Ellie and with Tony, and this is called Beatitudes and Beyond. This is your opportunity to come and listen to what Tony has to say about why he chose the topic of his service. You can ask him questions. He will give you feedback, and it's just a really great connecting time. On Wednesday, we have Beatitudes Boost. This is always a lot of fun. It's no agenda. We just get together and we chat. That's at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays. I have all the links for you, so just get connected to me by sending an email to media@beatitudeschurch.org. And starting today is our virtual summer camp. This is a new way to experience summer camp like you've never had before. It's all digital. Denny Nordmeyer, our family ministry coordinator, is doing this, and it will run from May 31st to August 2nd. It starts tonight, grades 1 through 6 will start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then grades 7 through high school will meet at 7 p.m. This is all on Zoom. You need to register your campers first, so go to the website, download the PDF, and send that in. Email it to Denny, and then she will also send you the links for how to get into the Zoom meetings. Also, I have something really exciting for our young adults. Ruthie Wenger is going to start a new Zoom get-together called Soul Seeds. This will be starting on June the 7th at 5:30. This is a Sunday. And this is going to be designed to provide a space for spiritual fellowship for those that are in their late teens to early 30s. It's the young adults. She will be utilizing material from the Virtues Project, where both reflective and practically applied spirituality are explored and encouraged. Believing in God is not a prerequisite, but a willing and open mind is. The gatherings, like I said, are every Sunday evening in June and July at 5:30, and it's on Zoom. So if you would like to be a part of that, please RSVP to me. And you can do that by sending me an email at media@beatitudeschurch.org. Last, just a reminder, the front office, church office, is still not open, but we are taking your phone calls. So if you need anything, we're here for you. Call and leave a message, and we'll get right back to you. Thank you so much for being with us today here digitally. Be well this week. Stay cool, because it's really, really hot. And connect with us online throughout the week. Share all of the links with your friends and family. And we will see you digitally online here next week. Bye.
Welcome to Church of the Beatitudes, our Hawaiian satellite campus. And we are glad that you are joining us, and we are very sad that you are not able to come with us over to Hawaii on our Beatitudes private jet.
We'd like to thank you for joining our service today, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully in person sometime soon at a worship on campus. And first-time visitors, you are invited and welcome anytime. These are tough economic times with tough economic decisions for all of us, but the church needs our contributions, our gifts, whatever we are able to give in order for the church to continue its mission and its message. And the church is making it as convenient as possible. You could go online with a one-time gift, go to beatitudeschurch.org, or you could even set up automatic payments through your bank. Whatever's easiest and whatever you can contribute would obviously be greatly appreciated. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call the church office. And we'll see you virtually again for another worship next Sunday at 10 a.m. Beatitudes Church, making God's love real.